one of the great anthems. Tonight, crowd ripped up by the Australian national anthem, and of course before it, respect for the French national anthem, the Marseillaise, and a group of youngsters on the Peter Stirling Hill, leaving no doubts as to which flag is the one that they belong to. Dennis Hale is the referee, the New Zealander. A lot of experience in internationals, as most of the leading referees from all of the rugby league countries have gathered under them now. And here's the kickoff. Australia left to right, the one-off test, and the Frenchman given the task of bringing it back towards the 20-metre line. Just outside the 20-metre point and then forced back. A good tackle by Harrigan. Harrigan and Fairley involved with Roberts in the opening exchanges. The French front row forward unasked. 25 out from his own line. Now Ataya. Welcome to Test football. On tar, the little fellow in 7. The big number 11, the blonde-headed fellow is Crew. The dummy half you'll be watching in 9 is Touré. The kick down the ground off his boot and fielded for the first time in Test football in the famous green and gold jumper, Russell Mullins. Or Brett Mullins, I beg your pardon. I was thinking that his relations were in the stand. He told me earlier, watching the game, Bill, of course, his dad, and Russell, a close relation, Brett, in his first Australian jumper.
Great shot there from Garcia. The winger really shortened up Steve Renoff as Harrigan takes the ball over the halfway line. As you would expect, a very enthusiastic start from the Frenchman. Very aggressive in some of their defence.
Michael Hancock called into the side for Khan, and then from Langer across for Daly to hospital tomorrow for Daly, the arthroscope. And now the French fullback Frison, 15 away from his own line. Ontar, a dummy half. A short pass put down by Seven. Referee Hale rules a knock-on and a scrum will go down. Joining us on the sidelines tonight, Michael O'Connor, as we watch that replay of the knock-on.
Yes, good evening, Ray. I think they're really up against it tonight, the French. The most noticeable thing during the national anthem when the sides lined up against each other was the physical presence of this Australian side. Players like Mal Meninga, David Fairley, Paul Sirenen, Paul Harrigan, Ian Roberts, they look so big.
Australia winning the scrum. Did you see those pack weights? Australia 100 kilograms heavier in the scrums. And now the first penalty that goes to Australia, so pressure for the French. Opening 3 minutes of the game. Langer with a tap across, and then Daly, and running off the hip is Fairley. Pops the ball onto Renoff. 2 metres out from the line. Walters at acting half. He looks at the blind side, and Daly pops the pass, and diving in for the first try is Big Ian Roberts. Roberts gets the first points of the match.
Well, it comes from a mistake from France. Second tackle, they surrendered the football. A scrum win from the Australian side. And after we saw Steve Renoff wrapped up by Garcia in a try save with a short ball to Ian Roberts, took advantage of a shortage on the blind side. You see the winger was actually at marker. Ian Roberts crosses wide out.
All too easy for the Aussies at this early stage from the mistake. A beautiful short ball there by Daly. They saw there was space out on the left there and used it accordingly of the Aussies. So it's been a very good start for them so early in the match, 4-0.
The goal-kicking duties with Mal Meninga tonight as Ian Roberts makes his way back down the ground with his teammates. Meninga 25 metres or so out, just in from touch. This is his 6th test against the Frenchman. And he has scored 3 tries in those tests. He is the highest scorer of points in test football for Australia. He's the most capped at 41 tests and the highest point scorer at 254. The kick in flight just offline. So Australia, after only 3 minutes of the test match, leading France by 4 points to 0.
I spoke to Patrick Ontard during the week, asked him about the players to keep an eye out for, and he did mention Jean-Marc Garcia, the far winger. He hasn't had the football in his hands as yet, but he's come up with 2 very good tackles. One on Renouf, the second a try saver, down close to the line. I think that was on Renouf again. Looking forward to seeing if he can run the football as well.
So Shamora it is who gets us going again, and Mullins taken in a driving tackle. Ontard leading the charge together with our crew. Oh, that's a good tackle on Harrigan. He bounced off him though. Got the play just outside the 30-metre line. David Fairley running freely, enjoying what's happening out there. His first green and gold jumper. Steve Walters a dummy half, and now Brad Fittler. Seranen able to get it away. Meninga goes down half. Fittler, he puts it out wide over the heads of the 3/4, and Siven comes outside the 10, got around Eddinghausen, didn't get around Meninga, and then Eddinghausen shut him down. And so the French with number 14 now, Tenner, who's playing at the back of the scrum. No number 13 out there. This is Artilla. Driving him back is Fairley together with Harrigan. Ontard busy, almost giving away a penalty there for shepherding. And pulled down and tackled is David Fresh. Now it's Ontard again, scheming and looking for an opening to hopefully provide itself. And the penalty goes to the French. A player was taken out, not in possession.
He doesn't look too well. He's still down our crew. As one of the Aussies took him out. He was in support there, went through as a decoy, and Harrigan took him out. So you can already see the difference in the 2 running styles of the packs of forwards. The Aussie forwards hitting the ball on the advantage line. The French, they're at a disadvantage when they're hitting it because they're 2 and 3 metres back from that advantage line. Australian forwards are just sweating on them and crunching them.
And that means one of the big problems, Paul, for the French side tonight is to stop the momentum. And really, they have to test the patience of the referee and slowing the play the balls down. Really make it so their defence can be set as quickly as possible. There's an elementary mistake made from the tap. The ball went backwards. So play on the first.
Siven. He's taking a hammering Patrick Arcrew. Toure. Ontard. Dummy, and then they pick up the second man runner, and that is Tenner. The French are down 4-0. They're 45 metres from the Australian line. Ontard, switch of direction, back, and then Artilla taking a really heavy knock there as Harrigan took him ball and all. Away from Shamora, from him across from Onte and back to Shamora. 38 metres out, centre of the ground, the Australians end. Ontard deciding to put the little kick down into the corner, keeping it low. Mullins with a bit of work to do early on. And he's able to get it within about 3 metres of his own 20-metre line. Eddinghausen a dummy half.
And that set of 6 for the Frenchman again emphasised the importance of Ontard. Out of the 6 rucks, he was the first receiver on 5 occasions. Now, it's not going to be too difficult for the Australians to read if he's involved that much. Wherever Ontard stands, that's the way the play will go.
Harrigan. 30 metres now away from their own line. Langer, Daly, and then for Meninga to take the tackle, hit and spin. Mullins for Eddinghausen. Eddinghausen almost to the halfway line, shut down by his opposite number, Siven. Langer's kick. Just coming off the outside edge of the boot. Frison brings it back from his own 20-metre line. Across there, he links up with Garcia.
all these Frenchmen, they're willing enough in defence. They're hitting as hard as they can. They probably lack a bit in the techniques as far as defensive patterns are concerned. In Australia, we look to spin the ball wide and catch them out all the time.
They look to get Mullins involved off Meninga's shoulder. It's a favourite Canberra ploy. It works particularly well at Winfield Cup level. It'll work well tonight. Already seen Mullins heavily involved, always beaten the first defender.
Will they come to the left again now? Shimura trying to get between Fittler and Meninga. Fittler shutting him down. On his own 40-metre line. Fress's pass. Looked to touch forward to Ontar. Last tackle coming up. The French are within 5 metres of the halfway line. For Torre, a dummy half. To put the kick in down a narrow blind side. He doesn't find touch. Brett Mullins brings it back. Sieven is the man that chases in the number 2. A crew working hard in number 11 for the French. 4-0 as the ball goes wide. Quickly out to Renouf, and now Michael Hancock is flying. Comes to the fullback, gets past him, gets inside the 30-metre line. Now they've got in Tenner and Leong. 20 metres out from the line. Australia quick to the right. Daly runs to the line. Fairley juggles it, pushes it on. Renouf is in space. Renouf heads for the line for the first time tonight. And Renouf gets the second Australian try.
Well, fortune favours the brave, and David Fairley lost control of the football but was able to see the ball deflected to that man there, Steve Renouf. See there, Renouf puts away Michael Hancock, so he did a good job to get involved in the next ruck. Hancock beat the tackler for his on, but some good cover defence here from Tenner coming across from the next ruck. See the pass goes to Fairley. Bounces over his shoulder. Hint of that going forward to Steve Renouf, but the referee was in good position and ruled play on.
Yes, did look a touch forward, that last flick on there by Fairley. But once again, France, all sorts of problems out wide, and Renouf too easy for him. We've seen him score a million tries of that in the Winfield Cup, and tonight's no different.
Garcia coming in to take that first play to the blind side. Torre is okay again, through Ontar. Artia. You can see the ferocity of the tackles. The head jolting back. That was a good tackle by David Fairley.
This Artia, who's worked hard for the second row, is a good tackle there on Fress. Had a season under the South Sydney coach Ken Shine, who coached in France for 1 year at the Rouen club. Had a fair opinion of the second rower, as Australia found to be within the 10. The penalty laid in the tackle count to France.
This crowd probably up around, well, the high 20,000s. What's it like down on the sidelines, Michael?
Oh, it's a super crowd, but the crowd are strangely quiet, which is hard to believe, really. Australia leading 10-0. I think, and I don't believe I'm un-Australian in saying this, I think the crowd would like to see France make a game of this. The French side also are very quiet.
Off this penalty and off the boot of David Fress. The Frenchmen take the tap, and Sieven almost able to get through. I tell you what, he left a couple of Australians fairly groggy, particularly Paul Harrigan.
Yeah, that was a very good run by Sieven, and some of his forwards should have a peg at that run and decide to run a bit harder like he did.
Played by Ernest. Across for Ontar and on for the run around with Shimura. Then they link up out wide with our crew. 38 metres out from the Australian line. Ontar, dummy half, involved in everything. That is Tenner. Despan was running free on his outside. He couldn't get the pass to him. An ordinary pass high for Shimura. Langer's on him now. French 5/8 made to play the ball. Last tackle gone. Ontar. Grubbing kick. Did it come off the Australian? It's now come off the boot of the Frenchman. And a penalty has been given to Australia.
Yeah, he's got them for being offside in front of the kick. Nice little tactic there too by the French to try and get in behind the Australian defence. It was Ontar who put the kick in, but he was offside, Fress.
So the Australian captain finding the line. About 8 metres short of halfway for Walters to send Roberts ahead. Strong effort there by Artia. Right on the halfway mark. 4x test between the 4x Australians and the Frenchmen. And they will meet again, of course, before the end of 1994. As Mullins tries to escape. Steve Walters. Alan Langer. Daly, the run around with Langer and running into trouble. And that number 12 is getting through a lot of work, Artia.
He's working very hard. Mullins put the shoe back on. So to majority of the Frenchmen is Andrew Eddinghausen down the sideline. Will score.
And Eddinghausen, he'll drag him over the line. He does that for our third try.
Now it's a double movement. Ruled that Andrew Eddinghausen fell short of the line, promoted the football. It did look as though he was a little bit short, E.T. Then it was up to whether the momentum carried him across, got inside Frisson very easily, carries one of the Frenchmen. There he is short of the line. I don't think it's a bad decision.
No, it's a good decision. It's spot on. The arm carrying the ball has hit the ground. He's got a hand on him from an opponent, and he improves the position of it.
Well, do you reckon his elbow lifted? I got
no doubts about it.
I thought.
Well, I think the ball was short and it ended up over the line, so somehow it got there, and I don't think it was momentum that took it. Anas takes the ball forward.
Put it this way, I think Andrew Eddinghausen would agree with the referee.
Oh, that's another big hit. He keeps fronting the number 12.
Doesn't he? What? He's betting got a bird's nest hanging off his head, but he's going very hard.
Oh, half his luck.
"30 metres out from the French line. Tenner getting under a tackle from Harrigan. Ontar's kick came off an Australian, then it was put down by Garcia into the hands of Hancock. What sort of a view did you have on the no try from Eddinghausen, Michael?
Ray, I actually agree with Fatty. I thought that the Frenchman pushed him over the line.
That's nice.
They stick together, these Manly blokes, don't
Yeah,
they?
he's been in Queensland a while too, Mike. O'Connor.
Now Meninga crosses the halfway and the ball goes off the hand of Eddinghausen when he passes.
Well, he was looking to go back inside Andrew Eddinghausen. Just a little bit of a lack of communication there. Again, a good pass here from Daly. Set something up out wide, the cutout. And you see Eddinghausen start to go back inside. The ball was delivered. He was put off. The ball went over the sideline. So a couple of chances for Australia just going begging in the last couple of minutes.
There's been plenty of holes out wide for the French defence, but their scrambling defence, Pete's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Well, I thought it was great on the far side when Hancock got away. We saw the number 14, Tenaga, across there. Really, they need to... Oh, there's a great tackle from Steve Renoff. A pat on the back from Laurie Daly.
Sivan, the left winger, on the far side of the ground, on the right side of the ground. He also has a high rate of involvement. Patrick Torre. Now on time. Atilla. And that's tackle number 5 gone for the French. 10 points to 0. A try for Roberts, the first of the game. Renoff got the second. Mullins goes high and comes down with it. 30 metres out from his own line. Fittler. Renoff. Bumps away from one, rounded up by another.
And you can see that's typical of Bob Fulton coach sides. As soon as there's a turnover in possession, they're always looking wide for where the space is.
Meninga able to get a good pass away. Eddinghausen improves the position. Straight down the centre to the halfway mark. Walters, Langer, back for Fittler. Down, not tackled. Promotes for Sirenen. Sirenen shows it. Here's the call back inside. Walters is there. Now Harrigan inside the 30-metre point. Langer to the blind side. Renoff able to push away from one, but Garcia is able to make the tackle. 9 metres out from the line. Across for Alan Langer. Now for Daly. Pushed on for Fittler. Fittler puts the grubber in. Fairley is chasing, but the French are able to save. Not held in goal as yet, but now they are.
Running the football on the last tackle there. With the try not being scored, the next best result is to get the football back from the line drop out. Brad Fittler putting it in behind Sivan. He shaped a pass to his fullback. That would have been suicide. Brushed off one tackle. And finally, Mal Meninga rounded him up. Just under 20 minutes to go in this first half. The thing that has impressed me has really been the ball control of both sides. A couple of mistakes early in the game, but really both teams have worked through their set of six quite well. The short kick-off here sees Fittler pick up 30 metres out, the big step.
So Fittler grounded on the 20-metre line, centre of the field. And David Fairley having a little bit of trouble with his handling tonight. It hasn't come back to hurt the Australians. In fact, a try resulted off the last incident. Langer with a long ball. Daly sends Harrigan back into the centre. And the defence in the centre hasn't been all that bad. As Walters goes looking for a try, holds it back. Roberts gets his second. Big Ian Roberts gets his second try.
Oh, he's a try-scoring machine, Ian Roberts. Right man in the right spot. A big hole there. And Steve Walters, the French to mark is not working. Walters runs wide, draws the defence, not very well read at all. And too easy there for Ian Roberts.
And the most ominous sign for the Frenchman is when Steve Walters is able to find cheap metres. He gets out. He's a great ball player, Steve Walters. A select little pass to Ian Roberts. It's the forwards combining well on the fringe of the ruck there. Gets his second try. A man who hasn't toured overseas as yet. He's had a lot of injuries. Be hoping for a big performance tonight, a good finish with the Manly club.
And he is playing Fettingham in the best form I've ever seen him for both Manly, New South Wales and now Australia. He's had a great year.
There's been a player that really hasn't been able to string together a lot of games, has he, through that injury, and he's even picked up a couple this year, but he seems to be getting back on the paddock fairly quickly and in fairly good condition.
The record of most Australian Test goals might well be equalled here. Michael Cronin with 93 holds it. Meninga has currently kicked 92, make that 93, and he equals the Cronin record. Australia then, 23rd minute, 16-0 over the Frenchman.
The Australian 4X Kangaroos 16, France 0.
This telecast being beamed through Sky B, B-Sky B, throughout England, and through Star Television in Hong Kong and across Europe. And we welcome those viewers to this live telecast of the International as Harrigan busts them again. 45 metres out from his own line. The Frenchmen have been game, valiant till now. Suddenly the channels are starting to open. 3 metres into French territory as David Fairley, playing in his first international, is tackled. Some wholehearted efforts out there. Leong in that tackle. Atiyah very much involved. Away for Langer now. Push it on for Daly. The centre has come off his man, Despan. Mullins it is now. 27 metres out from the line. Hancock decides to go from dummy half. Hurdles out of one tackle. Runs into Leong, stands and gets the ball back. Roberts shovels it back along the ground. Mullins dives on it. Hale, the referee, says play on. Mullins goes back to the 20-metre line. Renouf is there again. He gets his pass for Fittler, then for Daly. Inside ball for Mal Meninga. Meninga turns it back, and it's with Fittler. And Fittler is tackled 3 metres out from the line. The last tackle is with them. Walters away. The ball rolling around on the ground. Stacks on the mill. And referee Hale will order the turnover.
Well, once again, you would have thought an Australian try would have come there, but the scrambling defence of the French has come good. And, saved another try there. Mel couldn't bend down for that one. Well, they're down everywhere, the French.
The play before deserved a try, didn't it? Some beautiful close-in skills. I think that man down is the man who came up with the try-saving tackle on Meninga. Just have a look at this. Great clean-up there from Mullins. Got his body between the defender and the football. Beautiful pass here from Renouf. Another good short ball. Daly back inside. And you'll see one leg grabbed.
It's
there.
Tenner. Stefan Tenner.
Good job the hooker to be there. Receiving some attention, as you can see, up around the nose area. It's pointing to the cheekbone. Hopefully no serious injury. Pat on the shoulders, he'll be okay with 15 minutes left in this first half.
French to restart with the play the ball back inside their own 10-metre line. This is Chamorro. He's talking about the debutants in the French side. They include our crew. And on the bench, Vincent and Baudouin. They're yet to come into the game. There's no doubt they will. A couple of them have only played one test, including the lad that you just saw injured, Stéphane Tenner, the lock forward. He's only playing his second international. Senior member of the side, really, as far as internationals are concerned, is Patrick Ontar. He's played 24, and David Fresh has played 22. That's Ontar on camera. He's a fireman by profession at Avignon. He came here tonight hoping to put the Australian fires out. At the moment, they're burning out of control, though.
That's poetic, Ray.
And Teo Arnest has had experience with the prop with Canterbury second grade. As a matter of fact, David Waite, the Newcastle coaches here tonight, said he coached Teo as Renoff breaks free.
Renoff over the halfway. Eddinghausen angles back into the centre. Tries to split through, tackled though, and effectively brought to a halt 28 metres out from the line. Daly now serves it up for Roberts. Roberts having a real picnic. And now Dennis Hale, playing the advantage, gives the penalty to the Australians, who go for the corner again. That was a great tackle.
It was Arnast, the man that Paul Vorton was talking about. Hurt himself in the tackle, but he put his body on the line. The Frenchman make a mistake. Cleaned up by David Fairley in the one motion.
Fairley is just 3 metres from the line. It would seem unlikely the French can hold them any longer. Daly looks inside. Roberts is looking for his third. Ontar makes the tackle. Langer goes into dummy half. Calls for a quick play of the ball. Fittler runs a decoy to the blind. Harrigan goes charging at the uprights. He's put down by Atiyah and Arnest. Across from Walters, a dummy half. For Langer on the 10-metre line. Now Mullins, he's denied a try. Good defence by the Frenchman. Garcia was one of them. The other was our crew. The ball comes out of the tackle, and another Australian penalty.
Well, they're just hanging on here, the Frenchman, as the shake of the head from Mullins shows the frustration. They've had a couple of sets of 6 in a row here. Steve Walters opts to go back 10 metres just to give the side a little bit more room. They go to the backs immediately.
Daly is with it. They're back outside the 20-metre line. He dummied once, then for the captain, and Mal Meninga goes in and scores a try. Deserving of this champion centre, playing as an Australian captain for the last time on Australian soil.
Well, they could only hang on for so long, couldn't they? The steel was breaking down. And Mal Meninga, lovely inside ball from Daly. Daly drifted across the field.
Oh, you historian, you.
And, I mean, it's a very simple play. Just watch Daly draw 2 or 3 or 4 here. Lovely play, and the defence hadn't come over on the inside, and Mal, easy for him.
There's any tight defence, weak defence will not come across in cover, and it was Touré, the hooker, who was a little bit slow in reading the inside man. There you saw the selective pass from Laurie Daly. That's the hooker trying to ankle tap Mal Meninga. The big number 3 plants the ball down. He's done that plenty of times in a great test career.
20th try in that career. 262 test points now. And his 4th try against the Frenchman. He debuted Mal in 1982 against the New Zealanders. He converts his own try. And Australia leading 22 points to 0 after 29 minutes.
France 0. At the end of tonight's game, the 4X International Trophy will be presented to the winning team, and Channel 9's Ray Warren will interview Australian captain Mal Meninga.
So back
please
to the halfway.
Test captain a great send-off. That's after the end of the match here
Chamorro.
tonight.
Pierre Chamorro. Where's the number 6? He's playing his 14th international for the Frenchmen in this game. The French came down here -5 of their more experienced players who played in the test against Wales this year. So they've left their home country light on experience. Roberts.
And the thing's starting to open up for the Australians. It's important that they don't lose their discipline, try and do too much fancy stuff. This really is a selection process again for the Kangaroo Tour. Not many people expect anybody to play poorly out there. So But there's even more emphasis if you do have a bad game, it's going to stand out.
32 out from his own line. Steve Walters scurries away from dummy half. Fittler going in and basically telling Paul Sirenen to leave it to him. Langer goes for the left, and Daly gets around the corner ball for Hancock, who steps in and away from Despan. Hancock puts it in the air. Underneath it is the wing three-quarter Sven. Hancock leads the chase, makes the tackle, and that's a good piece of individual effort there by Michael Hancock. Frison. Diving tackle by Sirenen.
He's terrorised. The French side has Sirenen leads the tackle count. He's already come up with 11. Most of them have been driving efforts. None better than that one from the Chief.
To his credit, Atilla has been the best of the French forwards. They've hit him with everything, and he keeps getting up. Fresh over the sideline. Bad mistake by the Frenchman.
Yeah, mistakes galore now by the French. They're putting themselves under a lot of pressure here in their own danger zone, 30-metre zone. Good driving tackle there by Meninga and ET over the top. But yeah, you're right about Artia. He's been a great player for France tonight, and if I was the coach, I'd be giving him a few extra snails at half-time.
Australia winning this scrum just 33 metres out from the French line. It's with Meninga. Mullins comes in from the back, runs 20 metres, floats it over the top. It looks forward. Hancock doesn't really care. He goes for the corner and doesn't make it.
Well, that's great cover defence. Looked like a certain try. Again, Mullins taking advantage of the work out wide. The French fullback must come up into the defensive line. You'll see him appear shortly at the right of screen. There he is, but he's there after the horse has bolted. That looked forward. The 5'8" couldn't come up with the tackle. What number 4 in Despan did.
What a great tackle by the winger.
And Sivan as well.
He's come from the opposite side to make that try saver. Well done.
Let's take a sideline comment from Mike O'Connor.
Yeah, it's the right-hand centre. David Despan isn't doing his side any favours. He's running up out of the line consistently and leaving yawning gaps, and they're just taking advantage of it, the Australians.
Here's Artia again, commanding a bit of respect from the Australians. Meninga and Roberts were 2 of 3 in green and gold that went up to take him in the defence. Arnest has come out on the wrong end of a hit from Harrigan. He wasn't in possession of the football. Now Tenner.
Well, I think the outstanding feature of Artia's play, the number 12, is that if Harrigan hits you in one of those tackles, you've got every right not to be seen for a couple of minutes, but he's in the next set of 6.
Turnover time, and Australia coming up with it in good field possession, so the French not clearing their own area with the kick, and now Daly obligingly makes a knock on.
Well, you see there exactly what Michael O'Connor was talking about. Just have a look at the French number 4 here. As they go to the back line, if we freeze play there, have a look at the number 4. He's coming up to make sure he's got his man, but look at the yawning gap in there. Now, if Daly had been able to hold that pass there, you see the Frenchman is already 5 metres behind him, marking up against Steve Renouf.
Giving a flood of penalties to the Australians.
Well, we have the French coach sitting right in front of us, and as soon as that penalty was awarded, the arms went up into the air. He's had a look at the clock and seen that there's 4 minutes to go. They've had to do a lot of defence in the last couple of minutes, and this is where defences get tired late in the half. A bit of fatigue sets in. You would expect with this amount of possession, the Green and Golds could just about run in another try here. Harrigan up the blind.
Walters into dummy half. Fittler steps off the right foot, takes the tackle of Torre. Leong over the top. Walters again for Langer. The choice of Fairley and Siren, and he takes the latter. The big man gets a pass away. Fittler gets it on for Harrigan. Harrigan a couple of metres short of the line. Thought about a double movement. Then plays the ball for Walters to spear it on. Langer pushes it out. Daly looks for an opening. Then stands, gets a pass away. Meninga flops it over the top, and Mullins gets a try in his debut game for Australia. Brett Mullins gets the try.
And great to see. He's had a fine 37 minutes. Been involved in a lot of the attack. Beautiful work again from Laurie Daly here. His support player actually gets tangled up, taken out, David Fairley, but he spins around, gets a lovely pass away to Meninga. He gets the basketball one over the top. Eddinghausen unmarked on the outside. but enough momentum there for Mullins. And again, it was the number 12 down low for the Frenchman. He's worked the joint down.
Wonderful piece of skill here by Daly as he's going down on the tackle. Meninga and Mullins do their job. Mullins, wonderful to score a try in a test match, especially in your debut. And so Australia now making this look very, very easy.
Meninga then will attempt conversion of his Canberra teammates' try. And about 23 metres out, just in from touch. And with this kick at goal,
I'd like to get back as soon as possible.
Let's go back to the commentary team, and it's Ray Warren first.
The tackle should have been high. That's what they've got to do against these Australians, to stop the football. Renouf gets his second. But again, I must praise Brad Fittler for his involvement.
But Pete, even from scrums, Australia have run a decoy play every time out in the centres. And this Despan, he hasn't jerried yet. They're running a decoy at him. That's 18 times he's fallen for it.
They're very good decoys, Paul.
in the meantime, while you were carving up David Despan, Bernard Lyon has been replaced. Maybe they thought Lyon was Despan. Meninga with 4 out of 5. Breaking.
But he's a great finisher, E.T. As you mentioned at half-time, he's having a blinder tonight. So well-deserved of a try.
10th test try for Andrew Eddinghausen. Playing in his 21st international tonight, Andrew. One of the glamour boys of the game. Meninga getting quite a few kicks at goal, but not too many of them from what you'd call easy angles. This is right out there on the touchline.
Just going back to Eddinghausen, Ray, I must say that halfway through his career, really toughened up in a lot of areas. Great player now. Meninga fails with that kick, not a good one. Eddinghausen's playing great football.
36-0 then after 48 minutes in the test between Australia and France.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of tonight's game, the 4X International Trophy will be presented to the winning team.
Did you have a chance to check the betting before kick-off, Paul?
Yes, courtesy of Centrebet and Alice Springs there. The betting in this game, Australia were 40-1 on. And if you wanted to back Australia and take even money, you had to give 44.5 start. And if you wanted to back France, you took 38.5. Now, I don't know anyone who'd be so stupid to take 38.5.
Unless you got in early in the week, Paul, you got 38.5, and I did listen to your phone call. You're 2.5 in front with 30 to go.
Pass over the shoulder of Harrigan. Knock-ons both ways. So Dennis Hale to put a scrum down. And the feed will go, I believe, to Australia. Reading some of the signals that the overseas referees give from time to time gets a bit difficult. Langer working the scrum. For Daly to float the pass across the face of Mullins. Renouf comes in and away and reaches the 40-metre line, Renouf. Mullins follows him down to go dummy half. Fittler. You can already, as Peter has pointed out several times, see the benefit of having Fittler close to the play. Sometimes out in the centres you lose the benefit of the skills of Brad Fittler. But where he is now, he can pop up, he can be Alan Langer, he can be Laurie Daly, he can be himself.
France into the ground, so well done by the Australians tonight. It all goes well for a good kangaroo tour for them.
Just watching Laurie Daly walking back into position. Most important inspection via arthroscope tomorrow to determine the future of Laurie Daly, as Mal Meninga with 4 from 7 misses again. I don't think it's a chore in rugby league. In fact, that's the right word for it. I think Mal looks upon goal kicking as a chore. I don't know that he likes this caper all that much. If somebody else wants it, he's happy to hand it over.
Well, it's a large responsibility. You see, Mal knows he didn't hit that one sweetly. Just mentioning Bob Fulton, Paul, it's going to be interesting. I know that he's not the kind of coach who likes to make many changes when things are going well, but I wonder when he's going to bring on his interchange players, especially those who were playing in their first test. I guess he'd like to give Mark Hone and Paul McGregor as much game time as possible without disrupting things.
Yeah, no doubt they'll get a run. Only Mackay, Brash and McGregor.
We're starting now to grab for the record books. Australia's biggest win against France. 56 points in their 60-4 win over the French in Perpignan in 1990. Their biggest win ever of the Aussies, 62 against Papua New Guinea at Wagga in 1988. As Renouf slices in, runs into a shoulder, pushes it back out for Fittler. Fittler's pass grappled in by Roberts miraculously, then pulled down by Daly. The Australians on fire.
He should have passed Laurie Daly to the outside there. He had numbers with Meninga and his winger. A rare mistake. Eventually the ball came loose. Beautiful pass and well taken by Ian Roberts on the left shoulder. The cutout pass found Laurie Daly. Had men on the outside. Finally, Frison, the fullback, forced the mistake. It's a French scrum feed.
And a mistake as the French make a meal of possession. Mullen strides out, inside for Daly, and Laurie gets his second. Well, when Lady Luck turns against you, she can be an awful thing, can't she? The poor old French. Here's what happened.
You can't make a mistake like this. Almost a kick there from the Frenchman. I have to ask the question, does Laurie Daly look like the player who is going into hospital tomorrow?
Well, he's been playing like it for months and possibly years.
He's a freak, isn't he?
He is a freak.
Too easy there for the Australians.
You've got to take your hat off to Laurie Daly, because by simply playing in this game tonight, he has paid the due tribute to an Australian jumper that it deserves. There were people saying, why would you risk Daly in a test match such as this one? Meninga converts the Daly try.
Well, I can't think of another player in the game as the score now moves to 46 points to nil. In the whole competition, I don't know anybody who loves playing football more. And for Laurie Daly to be criticised about games he picks to play in, I find totally laughable. He will play whenever his body enables him to.
I mean, he's like most players. He play in every game he can, but if his knees bung, as Michael Hancock, looks like he has been replaced and Tim Brasher is on the field. So Daly's career at a crossroads in the operation tomorrow.
What a magnificent game Brett Mullins is having. The Chief has made a mistake.
And this is the French's best opportunity here. See a line drop out now, so they'll get the football back inside the Australian half. Not the best attempt there from the big man. Probably should have used the boot.
I was about to make the point that Brett Mullins has had a magnificent entry into Test football, but one still has to feel a little bit sorry for the replacement that just gone on, Tim Brasher. The line drop out, not... Oh, Brasher! Talking about him! That's exciting stuff. The speed of Brasher. They gave him a high drop kick, and he was down the ground and on the ball, and here he is giving it to Balmain teammate Sheridan. Brasher, of course, had the Australian jumper and did well in the State of Origin, but has lost it to Brett Mullins. Fairly flicking it out the back. Fittler is with it, bumping away from Ontar and away from Despard. Through another tackle, that of Georgie. And the Australians now just lead a line. Patrick Ontar dragging around the legs. Mike O'Connor down on the sidelines for a comment. Hold the phone, Michael. Renouf is in some space. They try to match it with him. David Fairley matches it with him. He gets the pass over back for Renouf, but it's into touch. Sorry, Michael.
That's all right, Ray. I was talking to Brad Levy at half-time from the New South Wales Rugby League, and they're absolutely delighted with this crowd, and full credit to this Parramatta region for coming up with such a great crowd on the occasion. Less than 5,000 tickets were given away. I haven't got the final figure, but there's well over 20,000 people here.
Well, gee, Michael, I think it's closer to 30. And I may be well out. In fact, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you played here on opening day in a red and white jumper for St George And I think it was a crowd of about 36,000.
Yeah, I think you're right too. I remember the game vividly.
You scored the only try for St George.
Yes, I'm sure Sterlo remembers it
Off a
pretty well
Paul
too.
Mears cross kick. Remember Sterlo?
A big guru growth chasing me for 50 metres, and pride alone got me home.
It's amazing what fear can do, Michael.
Sure is.
Baudouin, tackle for France. 41 metres out from his own line. Across from Patrick Ontard. And then through the hands of Chamora. It is with Despard. Ridden into the ground by Brad Fittler. Atia is a dummy half. As Paul said, the man with the bird's nest haircut. Patrick Ontard, the little fireman from Avignon. He's had no luck putting out this blaze. We need more hoses, I think. Langer for Daly. Daly for Renouf. An exhibition of his confidence. He reached out with one hand and brought it into his chest. Langer looks at the blind. There's nobody there. Walters. Steve Walters, with the pace of the game, unable to get to dummy half as much as he would like. And now Brad Mackay is into the game, down to the 20-metre line. Harrigan through one, through a second. Pulled down in the third. He's about 5 metres out from the line.
Oh, I'd love to see him throw a try. He's a world-class player, Paul Harrigan.
Langer, Daly, Renouf. Renouf tackled a couple of metres out from the line. 5 tackles gone. Brasher is the dummy half, but Renouf is hurt.
We see a Frenchman holding his head as well. That's the winger, Garcia. There may have been a head clash involved here. The head's just gone into the ground there. Difficult to see where the winger hurt himself.
Well, look, there might have a touch of a swinging arm here, was it, by Garcia? Watch his left arm. Oh, nothing in that. No, I think his nobbling's just hit the dirt. He's okay now, Renouf. He's up and about.
Anybody caught throwing
after a bit of attention
will be immediately ejected from the stadium.
50 points to nil. Australia's biggest win, as I said, was by 62 points against the Papua New Guinea side. The world record largest margin in league is 66 points at this level. As Langer's kick is high, the runners a mile of time, came off an Australian hand, but a penalty has gone to France.
Again, the referee ruling that the chasers were in front of the kicker. It's the second time in the game as the Frenchman fine touch 41 metres out. Well, again, it's a line ball thing. French hand there. Paul Siren has left the field. He's been replaced by Brad Mackay, and Paul McGregor warming up on the sideline. So Fulton putting all his troops on.
Was that a knock-on by Daly? I thought it may have come off his legs, and the referee agrees with that. Fittler uses Langer. Langer puts his foot down. A tear over the top. Strong stuff. Arnest is back on. Roberts is with him. Down for Langer. Langer put away by Baudouin. Fittler. Fairley. Fittler again. Now with Daly. Daly, the pass intercepted by Chamora. Torre.
Really am surprised, Ray, at how often Brad Fittler has gone into first receiver. Almost there as often as Alan Langer, as you see the timely interception made by Chamora. Fittler really making the first receiver his own.
Replacing on for the Australian
One of the tackles in each set of
number
6.
14, Paul McGregor, replacing number 4, Steve Renner.
Steve Renouf has left the field. McGregor takes his place. In great form, the Illawarra Steelers centre three-quarter.
Jean-Marc Vincent is now on for the French in jumper number 20. Turned inside by Sven. Ontard there, but it's gone into touch. Langer indicating to Hale, the referee, what has happened. And Australia come up with the turnover.
Well, at least some initiative shown by Ontard. The cut.
So it just makes you wonder if his career does get put on hold, who will slip into the Australian 5'8" spot on that Kangaroo tour.
Man of the Match award tonight is again $1,000. And tonight made possible by the sponsors, the 4X people, Castlemaine, of course, the makers of 4X. And they provide the Man of the Match award $1,000 tonight.
And with 13 minutes to go, Mark Hone will get some game time out there. His first test. He must have been desperately worried when he left the field for Brisbane as to how he would go through the medical test. He's given the all clear. As a little kick over the top here from the hooker Torre, well fielded by Mullins, who bumps him off and hurts him.
Daly from dummy half, pushing it along the line for Langer, and then Fittler. McGregor angles back in, tries to put a fend on Georgie, but he hangs on, and Langer works the blind again for David Fairley. Then Ettinghausen, back for Langer. They're just into French territory. Daly, a short ball for Mullins. Mullins does well. Meninga for Daly. Daly goes inside the 30. Daly to the 20. Atia makes the tackle. And Daly to play it, but it's a penalty to Australia. Raked out by the Frenchman. 50 points to 0 in favour of Australia. The tap taken, and Mark Hone is on and taken to the 10-metre line.
One for Ian Roberts.
Walters now. Fittler. Fittler lets Meninga run the decoy. Mullins is with it. Plenty of traffic out there for him, though, to contend with. Fittler calls it a game. Mackay running close on the right. Walters hears a call back on the blind. Meninga is there, but it's gone right for Langer, then for Daly, and now for McGregor. They won't stop the big Illawarra centre. A fine Origin series, and now rewarded in his first Australian jumper with a try. Paul McGregor. Shocking start to the year for the youngster, but it's all behind him now.
And what Brett Mullins can do, Paul McGregor can do as well, over for his first try in his debut game as well. Some pretty sloppy defence out there by France. And McGregor fully has had a great year, McGregor.
The pass from Laurie Daly, a little bit suspect. Lets the first man go. A touch forward, but the big step beat Sirvan. And then improved the position by a couple of metres. Meninga will take over the kicking duties once again.
Interesting story in one of our daily newspapers here in Sydney about Paul McGregor today. He's one of 4 debutants, and this match has copped a bit of a panning in various quarters. And he appealed to those people to drop off simply because to him, as a debutant and the other 3, it was the most important thing they'd ever done. And from that viewpoint, one has to stop and think. Doesn't matter who it's against. In that green and gold jumper, it's important. Meninga brings himself back on, but it's offline. 54 points to 0, 70 minutes gone. 12 points short now of a world record margin in rugby league. 72-6, England versus France at Leeds last year. That's the biggest margin in an international.
And 11 tries tonight, only 5 goals from those 11 tries, and it just makes you wonder on the Kangaroo tour, if they didn't pick a player like Rod Wishart, they might be obviously be lacking in goal kickers on the tour.
Mackay. Mark O'Connor on the sidelines with us tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point about the goal kicking over there, because the Test series will be close from what we've seen. I'll come back in a minute if you like.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, right. Just on the refereeing before, I think that really this is the first time France and Australia have played under the 10-metre rule, and I think that's to the advantage of Australia. And possibly the last time we played was in France. I played that night, and it was very cold as well. But we weren't playing under the 10-metre rule, and I think that evened it up a little bit.
Any comments tonight? Welcomed comments from Mike O'Connor. He's only worked with us a couple of times this year, but I'm sure you people,
he's very good.
Enjoy listening to Michael as he tells you what's happening out there, and just then reflecting on his own Test career,
which he tends to do.
He doesn't mind giving himself a rap, does he?
I think he's good. Despard. You blokes fair dinkum.
Anyway, a chance now for France. I don't think they've been in the Australian quarter all night, have they, as Entente goes through?
Entente, is it? been on tar all night. What does he change his name by deep pole?
He might after this.
Honest. He's put it down. And a penalty goes to France. Well, this will be an interesting decision. 54-0. They take the tap. And that is Georgie, I believe. Back and away from Venson and through to Chamora. On to Fresh, pushed on to Despard. Despard close to going into touch. The ball back to Australia's Steve Walters, though. Walters to play it just inside his own 20-metre line. Mark Home. Got 7 minutes of the match remaining. Langer. Daly. And now McGregor able to push away from his centre opponent. Tries to unload. Scrum to go down.
Very difficult to get the ball into a position to pass like that. A side flick almost. It worked in Melbourne. I still remember the great pass he threw to that man on the outside, Andrew Eddinghausen. Very difficult to manoeuvre. Unfortunately, the pass went astray.
Friday night, of course, we travel to the Adelaide Oval for St George and West. Freeze on. Tackle by Daly. Despard. Oh, gee, that was a big tackle by Meninga on Venson. On time. Honest. Harrigan still hitting very hard in the dying minutes of the game. Baudouin. Right on the halfway mark. 54 points to 0. Just 2 points short of a record-winning margin over a French side. The turnover back on the Australian 40-metre line. Daly. Mackay. Some of the older rugby league viewers tonight will be saying to themselves, whatever happened to this formerly very good rugby league nation? They came here in 51. That was the side with Pugh Gobert in it. And Dopp, Poncenet, Rousset. And they annihilated us. And then in 55, they gave us another beating. In 60, they drew the series with us. And it was from there that league went on the decline as Union over there bought up the better players. Brasher angling back in. Brasher coming out. 10 metres out from the line. McGregor.
Langer signalled to his outside men again. They're going to run this one, and they've got numbers.
Fairley. David Fresh tries to hold him, but he can't, and Fittler goes through to score. Well, Brad Fittler gets the try, and very deserving of it. And that is a record-breaking margin at this point over a French side. 58 points to 0 in favour of the Aussie.
And it's been an outstanding performance from Brad Fittler in all facets of the game. Finally gets that try. See that David Fairley had a man unmarked on his outside. Didn't have time to pass the football, just got the big fend going. And then back on the inside, no cover coming across until much too late. And Fittler gets across the try line.
He's had a big game, Fittler. There was some criticism when he was chosen from the centres to play lock forward. But I think he probably prefers to play lock forward or 5'8" for his Penrith club. Here he is in the Australian number 13. He's made a great fist of it tonight. And that's where you'll find Brad Fittler in the future in Australian sides.
Well, that's exactly right. If you're going to have Mal Meninga and Steve Renouf in the centres, you've got to find a place for Brad Fittler. And keeping in mind, you've got to have Laurie Daly in the side. And even when Meninga retires, you're probably looking to the French Arpilla. Plays at 12 metres out from the line. Onta. Still probing for points. Thrown unmercifully over the sideline.
He's tried hard on Tar. Was coached at Hull by Brian Smith in the 1990-91 season. As you pointed out, Ray has gone to Leeds. He's made a fist of football at the highest level. With only a minute to go on the clock, it was worth a run down the blind side. There might have been some lazy defence there, but Paul McGregor loomed. And over the sideline he went. Wind down to this game now coming. Crowd chanting. And a big performance by the Australians in a Kangaroo Tour year.
And there it is, the siren. The hand goes out from Andrew Ettinghausen, acknowledging the French performance. 58-0, though, is a record win by an Australian side over France. 12 tries and only 5 goals. So you don't have to be a brilliant mathematician to work out that this margin could have been a world record rugby
in the year.
I think we put more work when we come back, and I think we can put the test side in France because you know, tonight is a young player, but it's good experience for them. But we prefer the test side.
A lot of interest back in France in this game.
Oh yes, it's a lot of exciting game for all the people in France. But the score is very important, and I think a lot of support is very disappointed tonight.
Well, good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much.
Just what were your impressions?
Well, Mick, it was just an honour to be playing tonight. I just wanted to go out tonight. I didn't want to try and be a superstar and go bullet a gut. I just want to fit into the game, get to know everyone's play, and go the 80 minutes. So, you know, the scoreline indicates it was a fairly easy game, but for a first test game, it was sort of difficult to fit in.
What were your impressions of the French?
Well, you know, they've got a lot to learn, the basics of rugby league, but I'm sure they can do that.
There's a lot of talk out there?
A lot of talk by them. I don't know what they were saying, but yeah, our talk was good. I mean, it's very hard, as you know, you get up by 50 points. It's difficult sort of game. People think it's very easy to be playing in a game like that, but 50 points, it's hard to keep your mind on the job.
Well, congratulations on your game. You've got one foot in the door now for that Kangaroo Tour, and good luck to you.
Thanks, Mick.
At Parramatta.
Thanks very much, Jeff. Thank you, Ken, for those very kind words. First, I just want to thank all the supporters for coming out here tonight with such a marvellous crowd, getting behind the Australian side. We did really appreciate it. To Patrick and his French side, I know from my heart that we wish the French Rugby League all the best in the future. We certainly want to see them being competitive in a national scene, hopefully at the end of the year. But thanks very much for touring our shores, and wish you very best for the future. To our guys, we showed a great attitude tonight. We a lot of things to lose and not much to gain, but we set our sights on what could be a very memorable Kangaroo Tour at the end of the year, and I think that the guys formed tonight hopefully will press claims for a spot in that tour at the end of the season. I just want to thank, in closing, Forex for their marvellous sponsorship once again. They've been great supporters of rugby league in Australia, and we just hope that their continued support will continue in the future. Thanks very much.